And today's topic is very interesting. A lot of you must have heard about affirmations, and uh, people have different experiences with affirmation. Now, today's session is about the affirmation blueprint, because at the end of the day, everything that we do, our it's the powerhouses our brain. Without the brain, we cannot do any of the functions. So, how to make the brain accept the new reality that we are trying to give through affirmation? So that is the topic for the day, and we will do a little. I wouldn't say deep dive, but we will try to understand that why at times the brain listens and why at other times the brain doesn't listen to the affirmation. So there are some people who have stupendous results with affirmations, like their life changes. And there are some who say, I've been doing affirmations since 1 year, since 2 years, but there's nothing that's changing. So is it the fault of the affirmation or what? So, for every one of you who is here, who is on YouTube, and who will be watching the recording, I want you to think about three questions. One is that how many of you would really want to have that calm and confidence in your life? Calm and confidence in your life. And how many of you would want that your affirmation really work for you? No, they are so that they are not just words on paper or that you're uttering, but they actually work. And the third question I want you to think about is that would you like to have a simple method that works in terms of your affirmations, whether you are a homemaker or a professional? This is a system that works for everyone, whether you're a student, elderly, young, whatever. It's so simple that it actually works for everyone. So, hi, I am Preeti Gandhi, a self mastery and a success coach. And today we are going to talk about three things. First is why affirmations often fail. क्यों नहीं काम करते affirmations? We'll deep dive into that. The second is the brain friendly three-step formula, right? The brain friendly three-step formula. And the third is how to practice the affirmation so that it actually becomes a part of your being. Yeah. So these are the three things that we are going to talk about. And at the end of the session, you will be able to leave with your own affirmation and also the tools which make that affirmation stick for you. So that is what the idea is. And uh, and uh, a little about me. I have Before I dive into the subject, of course, it would be like, why should we listen to Preeti Gandhi? So I have been a professional and entrepreneur for 30 years in various capacities as a trainer, as an advertising co-founder, as a coach. And all these years have given me the experience of what are the fundamentals for being happy, for being calm, for being successful, whether it was for brands, for big companies, MNCs, or individuals, or leaders, or founders. Some of the fundamentals stay the same, whether there was no computers before, or there were computers, or there was no AI and there's AI. Whatever happens in the world outside, the inner world, the working with the inner world remains the same. And I have myself done a lot of tools, techniques, and affirmation is a beautiful tool which works when you are working in a more holistic way. Alone, affirmation may work, may not work. But when you make it a part of your holistic approach to the inner growth, then it works wonders. So let us get into what are the main reasons why affirmation often doesn't work. So let me just share screen here. This is visible.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay. So often, why affirmation doesn't work is because the brain feels, sorry, yeah. It's, when we tell a sentence and our brain thinks, oh my God, are you crazy? ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है. So the brain is not going to accept that affirmation. So if you say, I'm a millionaire, and in your account you just have 1,000 or 2,000 rupees, the brain is going to say, pagal hai. And the brain is not going to accept that affirmation. And that is known as the cognitive dissonance, which causes rejection. Okay, I am here and you are talking about going to the moon. How does that work? So that is one of the reason why it doesn't work. It's too unbelievable. The second why it doesn't work is it's too vague. For example, I'm happy. Now, what does happy mean? I can be happy walking in a garden, while the other person may be happy when they are doing sales. On the third hand, another person may be happy when they are feeding their child. Another person may be happy when they are running. So when I say I'm happy, there is no picture that the brain gets of what you're saying that I'm happy about. So that is a lot of confusion that the brain has. It's too vague. It's like, somebody asking you in the hotel when you visit a restaurant, waiter comes and says, what would you like to order? And you say, anything that's very tasty. So the waiter is confused. What do I get for you? So that's it's too vague. And your RAS, which is the reticular activating system, it ignores unclear goals. So if it's not clear, there is a small thing, a kind of a filter in our brain, which is known as RAS. Now, if you can't pass through that, your message does not reach deep inside. Okay. Now, that's another topic of discussion, that what's the conscious mind, what's the subconscious mind, what's the unconscious mind. But suffice to say that consciously, I may think that I want to be happy. But if the RAS doesn't understand what you're trying to say, it won't go inside into the subconscious. And if it doesn't go inside the subconscious, trust me, it's not going to work out. Right. So that's the brain science part of it. It's too vague. And thirdly, if there is no emotional hook, like, if I'm sitting like this and I say, I want to be happy, uh there's no excitement. Or if I want to say that I'm healthy, because health is a concern for a lot of people. So I want to be healthy. And it's like, okay, you want to be healthy. So it's quite, if you hear a speaker and the speaker is just saying, okay, you are put off. Like after a minute, you stop listening. And that's also the reason why you will find youngsters instantly, swiping. They see a reel, within 2 seconds, they decide whether I'm going to listen to this or not. Now, that is how the brain is actually programmed. Or, if the brain doesn't find a relativity, it's going to go off. And if there's no emotional hook, the brain doesn't feel that excitement. So if I say, I want to be healthy, and if I say, I want to be healthy, the brain is hooked, because not only is I'm feeling a surge in my energy right now, and if you have tried with me, you will know what I mean. There's activation in my arms, in my legs, and there's an energy flow that instantly happened. The body starts moving, the brain starts receiving message, oh, this is something interesting, let me kind of listen to this. And emotion is a very important aspect, emotion and repetition. Emotion is very important, because if when you watch a movie, very often you know that what's happening there is not real. Yet, if there's a sad scene, there are tears in your eyes. And if there's some chase going on, you are at the edge of your seat and says, yes, run, catch him, rest. That when the emotional connect is there, the more the emotional connect, the more you end up liking the movie. And the more you do something every day, then it becomes a part of your system. Every day when you keep brushing your teeth, today, when you brush your teeth, you don't have to think. It's become a habit. So affirmation is also like that. When you keep repeating it, the brain tends to take it as a part of your system and will do it for you automatically. So that's the reason why affirmations often fail. They are too unbelievable, they are vague, or there's no emotional hook. So any one of this, and your affirmation is not going to work. And I'm sure a lot of you know that affirmations may, like, there's Louis Hay, who is, I could say, the queen of affirmations. And she says something very interesting, that every thought we create is creating our future. So thoughts must be believable, and they must be repeated with love. And that's she. So when you listen to her affirmations, they are so beautifully worded, and they are so believable because the way she says it. Now, she says it as per her being. When you want it true for yourself, you have to say it as per your being. So that is a very important thing to remember. The next thing I would like to say, that what are, so we understood the first part, that why affirmations don't work, or why affirmations often fail. I wouldn't say they don't work, but why at times they fail. And it's actually more often that it fails. That's the first part, which we try to understand, that why the brain rejects the affirmations. The second part was, so what is the way forward? How do we find a brain friendly way of doing affirmation? So I will get back to the screen here. So this is a wonderful, simple system. So I want things to be simpler, um, because when it is simple, it is easy. And when it is easy, it's doable every time. And when you make a small change, you get big results. So you make small change in your affirmation phrasing, and you will find the results becoming big. Always remember, small changes, 1 degree shift is equal to big results. And that's how even brain loves doing it. If you give him a big mountain to climb, the brain is going to stop. It's not going to begin. But if you give small steps, brain is happy to do it. So what are the 3-step fix that actually works? First is catch the grumpy thought. When you say something like, uh, I can't do this. And actually the first step itself is a very, it's a 1 hour conversation, because catching what you're thinking is not as easy as we think it is. There are times that you are happy and all of a sudden you are sad, and you wonder कि क्यों यार, अभी तो अच्छा चीज हुआ, why am I feeling sad? And catching that switch, when the brain went somewhere, you were happy and you thought of a happy incident, and there were other people, and then all of a sudden you saw some person who, oh, you don't like, and then that triggered another memory. So brain goes at super speed, and if you're not able to catch what caused this, it is very difficult to then change that thought to something else. अब मुझे पता ही नहीं है कि why I'm unhappy all of a sudden, then how can I change it? I cannot just change by saying, I should be happy, I should be happy. You can try it and see. It won't work, right? So catching that grumpy thought, which says, for example, if the thought is, I can't do this, I always mess up. Now that's a thought that you catch, and then you flip it into a helpful thought. So, this is one side of the spectrum. You take it to the other side of the spectrum. This is like, I can't do this. So I don't have to go on the extreme other end and say, I can do this. So the brain is going to say, how in the world are you going to do it? You have no idea how you're going to do it. So the brain again will reject. So just totally opposite, brain doesn't work. But when you just flip it in a way that is workable. So for example, if I can't do this, as you can see here, I'm learning to get better each time. Now, one lovely thing about the brain is that it loves to learn. Brain is always excited to learn. It will support you when you say, I'm learning something. So when you say, I'm learning to get better each time, the brain thinks, yeah, that's doable. I can get better each time. So then there is acceptance that, okay, this affirmation will work. If there was another thing like, I always mess up, then I'm building my skills step by step. Now, brain finds this doable. Yeah, that we are going to bring small changes, and that works, right? That's the second part of it, you know. You flip it into a helpful thought. You don't flip it into an opposite thought, like, I can't do this and I can do this. So it should not be an opposite thought. It should be a helpful thought. It should be step by step by step. So I can't do this, becoming I'm learning to do this better. Or I will do this every day just for 5 minutes. Something like that, which is doable, right? So that's the second part of it, or of the three-step fix that actually works. The third part is make it stick with feeling and action. Now, make it stick with feeling and action. I would like you to think that if currently you're writing affirmation, what are you doing? Are you kind of taking a pen, paper, and you begin writing it? That ठीक है मुझे I have to write this affirmation 5 times. So you write it 5 times, and you look at the watch. Okay, how long is it taking? After this, I have to do this. I have to do that. So you finish writing it 5 times. You close the book. You keep it aside, and you think you completed the exercise of affirmation. But have you? Okay, so that's what the second next thing is about. Okay, so now I would like you to take one of your grumpy thought, one of your thought that makes you feel very sad, and you flip it into a believable, helpful thought, a doable thought, and then choose a practice method. Now, what are the practice method? That is what the next thing is about. And these are fun ways to practice. Okay. So make doing affirmation a fun activity. So for example, if you like let's say if you like playing a game on mobile, then it's a fun thing for you. So make it a fun thing. When you're playing with a child, if you are very serious and say, okay, now pick up your bat and let's do bowling, it's the child will not participate. But if you say, okay, come on, let's do this, then there's a fun element. So when you bring in fun element in some way or the other, the brain is more accepting. So one is you write it daily. Either it is morning pages or journal entries, or you can have that nice, sticky, colorful note. The more physical it gets, the better it is, right? So, have nice sticky notes, colorful, stick it at certain places. Like right now, I have one of my affirmation on a yellow stick, post it over there. So make it fun. Like this is where I most of the time take sessions. So I have an affirmation over there. Right. The other way to do is mirror talk. And this is quite a difficult thing to do, but a very powerful thing to do. So when you do a mirror talk, it's like you're directly looking at yourself in the mirror and you're saying with conviction. And when you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're saying something which is not a current reality, it feels a little awkward. And you wonder, okay, how can I say this to myself? I am going to, let's say, if health is an issue, and I'm like, okay, I am walking 5 minutes every day. I'm walking 5 minutes every day, and somewhere there is a resistance. But when you look in the eye, somehow it's like you are giving the message to yourself, and that is quite transformative. It's a beautiful self connection that happens. Mirror talk one of the thing is that initially it's very difficult to look at yourself and talk. But if you continue doing it for 1 week, for 21 days, slowly and steadily that comfort increases. You know how when you become friends with someone, so initially it's like normal talk, weather, this, that. But as you get close, you start talking deeper. Okay, what are your fears? What do you like? What can we, do together? It's the same thing with mirror talk. Initially, it's awkward, but as you keep talking, that connection is built up. And then it's a beautiful talk. It's a beautiful communication. And once you get comfortable talking to yourself in mirror, then not only affirmation, but there are many other things that you can use mirror talk for. right? So that's the second way in which you can practice affirmation. The third way is you dance it out, you sing it out. The more you use your body, the more the body remembers. There's muscle memory, there's happy hormones that are that are secreted in the body, and the entire system kicks in. Like, you know how you start the car, ignition on hota hai. So there's a lot of things that happens within the car or a scooter or a bike when you switch that key, when you rotate that key. Now that is what happens in the body when you start moving it. So a lot of things get activated, and then whatever message you give, it is received, right? So dance it out, use movement, use and another, an NLP technique is, if you have one particular movement that you correlate that particular affirmation with, then there is something known as anchoring that happens. So you can try doing that as well. And if you do not know about it, uh, search it, or you can get in touch with me or even Shabana ji and understand how that thing works, right? The fourth way is big letters on wall, visual reminders, they work. So you can have beautiful lettering, simple printouts, or even on a journal. If your normal handwriting size is this, if you write that particular affirmation in big letters, again that's a new neuro pathway that is getting created, because you normally don't write large. And as a graphologist, I can tell you that writing small, writing medium, and writing large, they all three have their own unique features. And for big writing, when you write affirmation in big writing, it has a very positive impact on your mind. So that's another thing to do, writing in big, either on wall or you write it in your journal. Writing in journal every day in big letter, you can see that shift happening very quickly, right? And another very interesting thing which I have used very often is record and listen. Again, like the mirror talk, record and listen is a difficult thing to do, because it's very uncanny to listen to your own voice. uh it's like when I initially first time did it, I recorded, but I just couldn't listen to it. It felt very odd listening to my own voice, and I was like, oh my god, is can this ever happen? But again, like in mirror talk, if you implement it and you try it for a few days, you will see the shift happening. And that also brings me to the point that when you record it, if you record it, with enthusiasm, like dance it out or sing it out, when you record it with a lot of energy, then every time you listen to that, you can feel that surge of energy. So when you're recording, you really take care of that. You probably do some jumping jacks, you do some physical activity, you stand up, you keep that paper in front of you, your affirmation, and you say it with energy and record it. And that brings in a different kind of a different kind of an impact when you listen to it later on. So once you have put in all your energy and work, and every time now you get to listen to it, you get to go in that same space. So that is another beautiful thing to do. And the last way is habit stacking. Now this, more than a fun way, this is about repetition. Often we have the best affirmation framed, and we do it with best energy, but we do it one day. And you tell me, will one day of affirmation really work? And then you would say, oh, but I forget. It is so busy, and it's not easy to to do affirmation every day. I hear you, I get you. And that is why we use this trick of attaching it to a routine. So for example, any activity that you do every day. Now this is an activity that comes from a wonderful book known as Atomic Habits, and there's another book known as Tiny Habits. So that book is, it tells how you make a certain things get into your routine, get into your habit routine. So one of the wonderful ways is, pick anything that you do daily. For example, everybody brushes the teeth daily. You make your tea every day. So Uh, so tell your mind that as soon as I brush my teeth, I will be doing my affirmation for 5 minutes. So the moment you keep your brush, so be very specific. The moment I have washed, cleaned everything, the brush, the tongue cleaner, whatever is your last activity of the brushing, after that I'm going to do my affirmation. So the brain has a flow that, okay, you do this, and then you do this. So the moment you keep your brush or tongue cleaner, that brain activates and says, okay, now you have to do affirmation. So when you make it habit stacking, it becomes that much more easy. And there are many things that you can do to make it to make it stick. You can put it at different areas of your house, as I said. You stack it as a habit so that it's far more once it becomes a part of your routine, then it's kind of you don't lose track, or you don't lose the continuity, so the repetition is maintained. Now, some examples, for example, for the homemakers, affirmations could be like saying your affirmation maybe while studying the morning tea, or put colorful post-its, and use affirmations during, an affirmation like, I am patient and calm, one breath at a time. When you are having a hectic day, you're cooking on one side, and then there are children coming, and there's a phone call, and probably your maid has said she's not coming, and everything is happening together. So repeat these kind of affirmations in your mind, paste it in the fridge. So have different kinds of affirmations for different things ready with you, so that in that moment you're not creating something new. So that is what you can do. You can do it while, while folding your clothes, while washing your dishes, or while any mundane activity which doesn't require you to think. For example, when you're folding clothes, you don't have to think. It's not an intelligence game, it's just a matter of those hand actions, so you're not using your brain. That time, use your brain for affirmation. So that's certain things that you can do as homemakers. As professionals, anytime you're getting into an activity, like you're just about to get into, you're traveling to office, you have sat and you are setting up the system for a Zoom call, or for a telecon, or for another kind of a conference call, whisper the affirmation in your mind, right? Set your affirmation as phone or laptop wallpaper. So that's another easy thing to do, because phone you pick up. Where is the phone? Okay. So phone is something you pick up every now and then. I don't know how many times you must be opening the phone in a day. So every time, if your wallpaper is of that affirmation, again, it's like every time it's coming on you, and it keeps that repetition on. So during busy days, you again have some affirmation made for you, and that is how you can practice affirmations. uh, you know and what one thing I would like you to leave with is that you make an affirmation for yourself, you practice it daily. So you make the affirmation using the 3 steps that we had. First you identify your thought, you flip it, and then you feel it, right? So these are the 3 things. You identify your thought, you flip it into believable thing, and then you feel it, you do it, use your body, use your energy, use your emotions. So make an affirmation for yourself, and then you practice it daily. I've given you 6 different ways in which you can experiment by for practicing it: watching yourself in the mirror, writing it, putting post-its, recording your voice, dancing and doing it. So there are, and find out your own ways. Why should you be limited by any one thing? So find out your own ways, but practice it daily. And for practicing it daily, repetition, that is another important criteria. Stack it with an existing habit. So then it becomes easier to practice it every day. And then notice the change for yourself in your thoughts, in your feelings, in your reactions. Because at the end of the day, it is that small 1 degree shift that creates the big results. And that is true for anything and everything that you would do in life. And why this way of affirmation is very critical is because in a way the brain is always listening. Every thought is a seed. And affirmation are not about lying to yourself, they are about teaching your brain to believe the best in you. So even regularly when you are talking to yourself and when you say I can't do this yaar ye to nahi hoga mujhse, that is also an affirmation. You're telling your brain that this is my reality and the brain will support you. So when you say, I can't do this, the brain says, okay, kind of, tathastu, and you won't be able to do it. But if you say, let me attempt it, I require to do this, let me attempt it. So the brain will support you. They'll say, okay, you want to attempt it? Okay, these are the ways in which you can do it. So whatever you say, the brain will support you, but say the things that are doable, that are not doable but that support you, that becomes a path to your progress. So that is an important thing to remember, that even the bad thoughts you are having, it is very easy for brain to support you in that. Why? Because the three things, it qualifies. First is, it's believable. You are feeling sad right now, so when you say I can't do this, it is believable for brain. What was the second criteria? That it should not be vague. And it is not vague. I am feeling sad and I can see all the bad things that can happen. I can't do this. If I can't do this, I won't get promotion. If I don't get promotion, I really will not progress in life. Then I cannot do these things. I can't buy these things. I can't go to holiday. Very believable. And what is the third thing? The emotion. So you are feeling it. Your entire body is like, I can't do this. Your entire body is shouting, I can't do this. So emotionally also you are attached. So this, when you say, I can't do this, it qualifies all the three things required for the brain to make it happen for you. And it makes it happen for you. So even the negative things that you are saying, remember that is also an affirmation. And it is an affirmation which brain takes very quickly because all these three things is there. So the brain believes it and does it for you. So brain, if you understand how the brain works, what are the when is it that the brain will support you? When is it that the brain will not support you? What is the importance of pain and pleasure? When you understand these things, you can use, this powerhouse that you have for your dreams and for your progress in life and for your success in life. Yeah. And science shows us that brain remains neuroplastic throughout our entire life. There was a time people said that 40s stuck you can learn things. After that, the brain stops growing or the brain stops doing all this. It's utter nonsense. The brain is neuroplastic. What does neuroplastic mean? That whatever wiring is there currently, you can always change that wiring. You can cause a new wiring to happen. Like every day, if you're walking the straight road, doesn't mean you have to walk the straight road throughout your life. You can always create a new wiring for a road on the right side. And the brain will slowly and steadily build it. When you believe in it, when you keep repeating it, the new neural pathway becomes permanent. And now you can choose whether you want to walk straight or you want to walk right, because now you have both the programmings available. So that's the neuroplasticity of brain. And science has shown, a lot of research and experiments have shown that brain not only functionally changes but even physically changes. That's the power of neuroplasticity. And if you actually look, our ancient Indian scriptures always always spoke that everything is possible at any point in time. Today, I'm happy that the science is able to prove it, that yes, it is true. And so this means that you have the power to rewire your thoughts at any age, at any time. And that's a powerful thing to do, isn't it? So when you practice affirmations correctly, you're not just thinking positive thoughts, you're actively participating in your own mental evolution. And every repetition, every time, when there is that, वो पगडंडी होती है, like somebody has just walked, grass थोड़ी सी हटी है, it's a temporary neural pathway. But when you keep walking on it, when you keep walking on it, when you keep walking on it, there is a small nice path that happens. So when you keep repeating, you keep repeating, you keep repeating, the neural pathway gets strengthened. And that's why repetition is another critical part of the, of the affirmation, and a lot of other things, of habits and many other things. So yes, thank you for being here, for listening to this. And I am Preeti Gandhi, a self mastery and success coach. And I'm happy that you are giving this thought, seeding this thought in your mind, giving this gift to your brain. And remember, you have everything. Your being is supported with everything that you would ever desire. It's just a matter of you believing in it, you tapping into it, and it becoming a reality. So do get on with it. Do your 7-day challenge, and let me know how it works out. You can connect with Shabana, share your experiences with her, and see how the brain supports you. So have a great day, and have a great affirmative day for yourself. And now I'm open for any questions or any clarification that you would like.